Le transport, c'est l'une des principales sources de pollution de la planète.
I think in the past, we've entrapped people into these automobile-dependent lifestyles.
How do we approach moving people around in cities more efficiently?
The way in which we build our environment, or build the city, will actually affect how people behave in that city.
Je trouvais qu'il y avait vraiment une opportunité pour améliorer les choses en s'attaquant au transport, en le décarbonant.
And we thought, let's create something brand new that's never been done before.
I have something in front of me on paper, and a year or two later, it's there, it's built. We're adapting the city to the 21st century.
Je pense que l'âge est à la créativité, aux nouvelles idées, à l'audace.
While I was traveling, I started wondering about why people in other places in the world, why do they make such different choices about how to get around the city? Like, why do they use public transit so much more than we do? And one thing that I started to realize is like, well, because the environment around them invites those things. The way in which we build our environment, or build the city, will actually affect how people behave in that city. Montreal existed long before the advent of personal automobiles. A lot of the older neighborhoods, like where we are right now, in fact, are so-called streetcar neighborhoods. They were built in the 19th century along electric streetcar lines. And then later came the car, and we started actually adapting the city to make more room for cars. I think in the past, we've kind of entrapped people into these automobile-dependent lifestyles. And I think our responsibility now is to change that and to build the city in a way that the car isn't the only option. So we're on Avenue des Pins, or as old English Montrealists call it, Pine Avenue. This is a street that was recently reconstructed. So 10 years ago, you would just see a sea of concrete and asphalt here, with cars going very fast. So now we have a wider sidewalk than before, raised cycle tracks or protected bike lanes. So a few hundred trees planted on either side of the street, which will eventually, when mature, will also provide a lot of shade and will help to combat the heat island effect. So it'll be a much more pleasant environment to be in. There's a big gap between these very high-level policies and, the bricks and mortar things that we actually put in this street. My job is to actually translate these into a program for building and designing a street. It's gratifying as a planner to be working on things that get built. I have something in front of me on paper, and a year or two later, it's there, it's built. This bike lane is slightly lower than the sidewalk, and the reason for that is to make the edge of the sidewalk detectable, cane detectable, so that visually impaired people can detect the edge. So either they simply by walking or with their cane, they can tell that they're at the edge of the sidewalk. It would have been easier to do it all at one level, but visually impaired users have told us that they're very, very stressed when they can't detect where the bike lane is. So that's why we chose to design it this way. This work that I do, it affects everyone. Like, we're transforming streets. This is like, we're changing people's daily lives. We're adapting the city to the 21st century. We have money to do it, and we also have the space to do it. I think we can really affect how people get around, and we can invite them to get around by different means.
An idea is 1% of the equation. Successfully rolling that idea out and creating a business out of it is 99%. That's the uphill battle. Spent many, many years in corporate environments and learning, and I feel Like my life's purpose is to break out and try something that's never been done before. Cities are very, very expensive to live in, almost prohibitively so now, where young urban professionals can't afford rent, let alone purchase a unit. The number one expense is actually the rent or your mortgage. Your number two expense, typically in Canada, is transportation. And so how do we approach moving people around in cities more efficiently, especially young urban professionals that can't necessarily afford electric vehicles and live in expensive cities? And this is sort of how Kite was born. We're a technology company based out of Toronto. We're still a baby company, but we're growing like crazy. And we offer access to sustainable transportation as an amenity within the built environment. Really what that is to partner with the largest real estate developers in Canada and soon to be North America, where people can access fleets of the latest and greatest electric vehicles right in their buildings. What differentiates Kite is really a few things. We're focused 100% on sustainability. We don't offer any vehicle that's not electric. We focus on electric vehicle infrastructure, the chargers themselves. So all of the Kite zones or mobility hubs are obviously connected to electric vehicle chargers. We don't just offer cars, we offer e-bikes, scooters, whatever makes sense for people living in the city. You may want to do the right thing and purchase an electric vehicle, but you simply can't afford it right now. So if we can cut that cost down in half by a monthly subscription or just use it as you need to, then you're increasing the adoption to EVs fast. You're removing that barrier, which is the cost. If you want to make a massive impact, you have to go after the biggest problems globally. And if you look at the biggest contributors to GHGs, it's the whole real estate industry in the developed world. One of the solutions is Kite, and to remove significant parking infrastructure. Parking infrastructure is the number one most expensive capital cost for real estate developers. If you can put one Kite car share in, you can remove on average 10 parking spaces. Companies nowadays, I think, have a responsibility to not only deliver financial performance, but also make the world a better place. We've got a lot of growth ahead of us, and I think it's such an opportune time in history for people to get into sustainability and impact and mobility. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for entrepreneurs, for investors, for industry, and I would encourage people to jump into it.
Le transport, c'est l'une des principales sources de pollution de la planète. Le transport de marchandises est un segment qui intéresse peu les décideurs politiques. Et c'est un secteur qui a peu d'innovation, c'est un secteur qui est peu réglementé. Je trouvais qu'il y avait vraiment une opportunité pour améliorer les choses en s'attaquant au transport en le décarbonant. Ma mission aujourd'hui, c'était vraiment de contribuer à l'électrification rapide de Nationex. Nationex est une entreprise de livraison basée à Montréal et qui livre partout au Canada. C'est un réseau de plus de 500 véhicules de livraison. Et maintenant, c'est devenu aussi le premier réseau de livraison électrique du Canada avec presque 70 véhicules électriques et une douzaine de zones vertes à travers le Québec et l'Ontario. Je pense que depuis 3 mois, on a livré plus de 150 000 colis en électrique. C'est presque 100 tonnes de GES, de gaz à effet de serre, en moins en 3 mois. Et c'est juste le début.
C'est le fun de se dire je contribue quand même avec un petit pourcentage, mais je contribue à trouver des solutions pour l'humanité. Puis, si je me projette un peu vers l'avenir, c'est comme pour plus pousser le processus-là de décarbonisation.
Ce qui est important, c'est de ne pas perdre en tête qu'avant tout, c'est une entreprise de service. On fait de la livraison, et que ce soit à essence ou à électricité, ce qui donne envie aux gens de continuer à nous suivre, c'est que le service soit excellent. Il faut que le service soit excellent pour que les gens aient envie de nous suivre, pour que ça nous aide à accélérer la transition et à le rendre électrique. Notre ambition est vraiment de devenir le leader de la logistique durable au Canada pour les générations futures. C'est alors qu'il faut vraiment penser en termes de nouveau monde. Et les personnes qui pensent comme ça, c'est une nouvelle génération. Donc il faut, je pense que l'âge est à la créativité, aux nouvelles idées, à l'audace.